The Truth Girls. Hi everyone. Let's talk about Trump's immigration ban by executive order. Okay, I posted a video yesterday saying I'm not feeling good. I'm still not feeling good. I'm still in pain, but I'm gonna do this video anyway. So if I'm a little disjointed or rambly or whatever, just bear with me. About this ban, I'm actually really excited to see what's happening in America right now. Some of my friends have been messaging me. They're really concerned. They're freaking out. Sonia, you got to say something about what's happening with this ban. You got to say something about what's happening with Trump. Meanwhile, I am just sort of sitting back and watching, waiting to see if there's something happens that have serious consequences. I'm waiting to see this, and the reason that I'm not panicking is because I actually have a lot of confidence in America, the country. Trump talks about making America great again. I personally believe America is great, always has been great. Can use some improvements on the economic level. But what really makes America great is its Constitution. I have a lot of confidence in America's Constitution, and I think that the executive branch's power is very much limited by that. And for that reason, I don't think that we need to panic. I know that Trump has been passing a lot of executive orders about abortion, the DAPL, immigration, you name it. Some people have been worried that Trump is going to take an opportunity to seize dictatorial-like powers. However, I strongly believe that the Constitution and the government system overall in America, the way it's set up, is going to prevent him from doing that. And what's really cool about this immigration, sorry, I'm stuttering. What's really cool about this immigration ban situation is it's showing how that's going to play out. It's showing how much power America, the country, has, and how this will limit the power of the executive branch, whoever's sitting in that seat. So let's look at the immigration ban itself. In the media, it's been called a Muslim ban. This isn't quite accurate. Actually, it's not accurate. It's a ban on these 7 countries. These are all countries that America is involved in military conflicts with, or difficult diplomatic relations related to military conflicts. Most of the Muslim population of the world, around 90%, is not at all affected by this ban. When I first saw this, I thought, well, Obama had passed a similar moratorium on immigration at one point as well. America is involved in conflicts with many of these countries. However, the ban, from what I could see, was quite draconian. It was just all across the board, no exceptions. It originally involved temporary visitors, refugees, and even green card holders. It meant that people who already had a visa but had left were not allowed to come back. This led to things like college students arriving at the airport after a visit home and being told that they cannot stay in the country. Children from these 7 countries who were waiting to come to America to have life-saving surgery were denied entry. Fortunately, in that area, Canada stepped in to help. At one point, this ban even included dual nationals, as in people who had citizenship in one of those banned countries and also another citizenship, such as British, were not allowed to come into America. And embarrassingly, even a former Norwegian prime minister was detained under this order. Now, following the original outcry, some of the restrictions were scaled back a bit. The Trump administration then allowed green card holders to enter the country. But most of these restrictions were still in place. And then something amazing happened. The system, under the existing laws, rose up against what they considered an unconstitutional or illegal executive order. U.S. judge blocks Donald Trump's travel ban granting nationwide restraining order. From the Telegraph, Donald Trump's travel ban on individuals from 7 Muslim-majority countries has been thrown into doubt by a judge who ruled that it is unlawful. U.S. District Judge James Robart in Seattle upheld cases brought by 2 states, Washington and Minnesota, and granted an order effectively suspending the order issued by Trump on January 27th. It goes on to say, within hours of the Seattle ruling, Sean Spicer, Mr. Trump's press secretary, issued a strongly worded statement saying that the administration would appeal what he initially described as the judge's outrageous order, as in that the president has to follow what the courts decide, that he is not a dictator. He does not have the power to just write an executive order and do whatever he wants. And if the courts pass a ruling, he has to appeal it. Here's another article on this from CBC. U.S. judge temporarily blocks Trump's travel ban. Sorry. Now here's what they say. The law is a powerful thing. Judge Robart's decision, effective immediately, puts a halt to President Trump's unconstitutional and unlawful executive order. The law is a powerful thing. It has the ability to hold everybody accountable to it, and that includes the President of the United States. And this is why I have not been freaking out about anything that Trump could potentially do, because, like I said before, I have a lot of confidence in America as a country and in America's Constitution. You know, it goes beyond even that. Now, there's more. The latest news: Homeland Security suspends travel ban. The Department of Homeland Security announced it has suspended all actions to implement the immigration order and will resume standard inspections of travelers as it did prior to the signing of the travel ban. President Donald Trump's government moved swiftly Saturday night to comply with a federal judge's order halting his immigration ban, even as Trump denounced the judge. The Department of Homeland Security announced it has suspended all actions to implement the immigration order and will resume standard inspections of travelers as it did prior to the signing of the travel ban. Now, I am not coming to conclusions that Trump is going to try to be a dictator or that he's going to be a great, wonderful president. I'm just waiting to see how it happens. Like, personally, I'm glad to see a change in the government. I know that the American people have wanted it. Well, you know, a segment of them, which includes most of my viewers, that you've wanted change. You wanted a real change. Obama promised change you can believe in, and that didn't really come. And here's your chance to have a totally new administration. Not to say that that may not come with a whole new set of problems. You know, politicians, when they're on the campaign trail, they always make a lot of promises. Usually they don't follow through. Well, the difference with Trump is he promised to drain the swamp. He promised a complete overhaul, and now his administration is going after that. However, Trump himself really has no experience in politics. Whenever I see pictures of him, I always get the feeling that he doesn't really know what he's doing, and he knows it. I mean, he knows about running a company, but he doesn't really know about running a country. I get the feeling that he's going around trying to look like he knows what he's doing, when the fact is, he doesn't. I mean, he's trying, but you can imagine what it's like to go from not being involved in politics at all to suddenly be running an entire country. That has got to be daunting, even for someone like Trump. Fortunately, he doesn't have to do that job himself. He has a whole bunch of people around him. And fortunately, there is the wider system. The fact that America is a republic, basically a collection of states that are almost like little countries, and that there are all these different levels of the system of government that keep things in check. So it's not like it's all on Trump's shoulders. He's not the king. He's not the dictator. Over the years, I've seen people getting very alarmed about certain things that go on in the executive level, like who is appointed where and what this could mean for the whole country. But remember that they're not running it as autocrats. Their power is limited. And Mike Pence has actually had some experience with this when he helped get a law passed in Indiana last year, which would have required any aborted baby or fetus to be given like a proper burial or cremation. It wouldn't have been up to the parents to do it. It would have been up to the abortion clinics. But it passed this law, and then a judge said, no, you can't do that. You don't have the right to pass this law. So again, it's not just up to someone to just pass a law or pass an executive order. If it's unconstitutional, this can be overruled. You know, I'll tell you another thing about this immigration ban and why I'm not in support of it. Have a look at this. From the Daily Signal, an interactive timeline of Islamist terror plots since 9/11. There's like 100 cases of foiled terror plots here. And I was thinking, well, if they're so afraid that people are going to come in from these countries and do terrorism in America, they must have some basis for this. They must have some reason to be worried about that. And then when I went and looked at the individual cases listed on this timeline, I found that it's not people coming from those countries. You know, a few here and there, but mostly not. It's a lot of Americans, American-born. White Anglo-Americans who converted to Islam. White, black, Hispanic, Americans. There were some Europeans in there. There was a couple of Algerians and Moroccans. A Saudi. There was a Yemeni terror plot. There was one. And there was an Iranian guy. Oh, there was a guy who came from Afghanistan and had become an American as a child. There were some Pakistanis. Actually, there are a few Pakistanis. If Pakistan's not on the list. So really, I don't see what this ban would have accomplished. It was just too much across the board. And I really don't see any good reason for it. So again, I'm happy to see that the system's checks and balances are in place, whether you support Trump or you don't. If you support Trump, great, because this is going to help to support Trump to do a good job. And if you don't support Trump, this goes to show you don't need to worry this is going to turn into Nazi Germany. Because Nazi Germany didn't have the American Constitution. So that's where I'm at with this. Thanks for leaving your comments. Thanks for listening to me. And I'll see you next time.